Another thing that has been on my mind recently is like when it comes to consistency in this same sort of thing, it's like it comes down to three things: your follow through, so your consistency to do things, the expectation you put on yourself, and the discrepancy between that. And that third thing, that discrepancy between what you're actually doing and the level of expectation you put on yourself, I think if that's too great of a gap and how much is too big of a discrepancy, I don't know, but like if it is too great, you're going to bury yourself in pressure or guilt. Or if you're not having enough, you're not going to grow as much as you can, you'll become complacent. So being able to live in that tension and lower the expectation to whatever your skill set and fulfillment level is, so you can build on and progress farther and farther. Like that's so huge. Again, to the consistency, because it's through volume that change happens. And if we can't be consistent enough, we won't have the volume to build the change. And so even if it seems inconsequential or too small at first, like if we just continue to do it, the volume adds up. And going to what, I kind of pull that from like Alex Hormozy or Chris Williamson, and then adding in something that they've directly said. It's, the work works on you more than you work on the work. It's like, it's so true. And if we just find that way to navigate and balance the tension of our expectations versus what we're actually able and capable of doing, time is on our side. Time's not the enemy. Time isn't pressuring us and burying us. But now time's our ally. Time's our tool. And when we wield that tool, we can move mountains. But let's see what we can do here. Not feeling too bad. Not feeling great like I was 3 weeks ago, but not as bad as I was feeling 2 weeks ago. So we're gonna go one step at a time. Try to be safe. Taking steps back, and just take a step forward, no matter how big or small that step is. Feel kind of weak, but doesn't hurt. Let's go one more. Real test is going to be in squatting. And then what's great is you can take that concept, those 3 points about consistency. I'm like, well, how do you improve any of them? You can break it down into actionable items, like whether it be that first point, your skill set, and like your actual fulfillment, the doing of things. Like maybe it's knowing what to do. Maybe it's the skill set of doing it. Maybe it's just the consistency of doing it. Like you identify what it is. And then like Hormozy's talked about, like lower the threshold to where you're acting more and more consistently. Like if you can lower that threshold to act more and more consistently, you're going to build more, and then you're going to increase the knowledge. Or maybe you don't know what to do, and so you go find out what to do. And even if you don't find out what the right thing is, if you've got 3 things you can do one of them, and then you learn about that, and you learn about yourself. And maybe it gets you closer, maybe it doesn't, and then you can mark that one off and move to the next one. And so that's actionable steps on that first piece. And then the second piece is like your expectation. It's like as you carry out the actions, does the expectation crush you? Does it motivate you? Hopefully there's a component of both in there. But if the way you execute isn't perfect, does that expectation so great that it's not encouraging or it's demotivating, and ridden with guilt? It's like, well, maybe we need to humble ourselves and not expect so much out of ourselves. Or maybe we've just gotten into a lull and we're just the big fish in a little pond and we need to put bigger expectations on ourselves. It's like, problem shoot those things, adjust. There's things to be done about each of those steps that will drive us farther in the direction of consistency. And it's that volume of action, the tension between the action and the expectation that's going to drive those results. But then you're not focused on the results, you're focused on the process. And that is the key. You got to let go of the focus of the outcome. Not that you don't have the goal. The focus isn't on the outcome of the goal. You're focused on those actionable things. And that tension between the two becomes so much more bearable and sustainable. And all of a sudden 6 months have gone by and you've lost 20 pounds or 10 pounds or dropped 5% body fat, or you've hit PRs on lifts that you haven't had PRs on in years. All right, last set. I'm gonna go run some more errands. I did this for 2 last week. Let's see what we can do here. removable object. Well, not today. That's all right. We got something.